So are you struggling with mixes that don't have any depth to them? They just feel like a flat sheet of paper hitting you in the face? Well, today I'm going to dispel all of your concerns and teach you exactly the method to do my 3 reverb system in order to get a ton of depth inside of your mix. Hi, my name is Tyson. I'm a mastering engineer here at Dinosaur Dog Mastering, and today I'm going to be teaching you exactly how to get a ton of depth in your mix super easily. Before I dive into that though, I do want to let you know that I have the ultimate mixing checklist available for download, and this is the same checklist that I use in all of my mixes, including this particular technique of getting additional depth inside of your mix using reverb. So you can pick up that guide down below. The first link in the description will bring you to a page where you can download the ultimate mixing checklist. With that said, let's dive straight into the tutorial of how to get a ton of depth inside of your mix using the 3-stage reverb framework. Today I'm going to be showing you a super powerful technique in order to get more depth inside of your mix. This is kind of built off of the techniques that I showed in another video, 4 ways to create depth inside of your mix. So it's kind of built off of that, but this is my system in order to be able to get depth inside of a mix. So the whole theory behind this is that there are 3 spaces inside of a mix. There's the front, the middle, and the back. And essentially we create a room in each of those spaces, and then we route our various elements inside of our mix to one of those 3 spaces or rooms. And that way we can create a real sense of depth inside of our mix. This is actually the same exact concept that Dolby Atmos is actually built off of to create spatial audio. So it's really just additional reverb. That's all Dolby Atmos really is, but that's another topic for another day. Today, we're going to show you exactly how to create depth inside of your mix. First step we do is we want to create our buses, which I have already done over here. I have set up 4 buses here. The front, middle, and back, those are the 3 rooms. And then the actual room one is just to capture all of the late reflections. And really, if I want anything to have more reverb effect, that's the channel that I'm going to use for that. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to ignore the room. We're just going to use these front 3 spaces. So the front, middle, and back. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab all of my tracks. These are all just the buses that are inside this mix. And I'm going to route everything to that first bus. And then I'm going to go grab my reverb and throw it on here. And so now I'm going to select the correct reverb for this mix. It doesn't matter what reverb I use, I just want it to vibe with the track really well. So I'm gonna turn that off, I'm gonna mute this channel, and we're gonna listen to the mix and decide what kind of space we want this to be in. In the crushing, in the pressing, you are making a new wine. Okay, so I'm kind of feeling a lot of space. I want this to be really big and roomy, so I'm gonna use a larger space in my reverb. So we're gonna pull up our reverb again, enable it, and I'm gonna go for a concert hall, because I think that's just gonna sound really nice. In terms of the actual size and density, those are gonna be the more characteristics of the space that we're in. So size is obviously just how big the space is, and then density is how much stuff is inside of it. So for example, if it's a big church with lots of pillars and pews and random stuff inside of there, it's gonna have a higher density because it's gonna break up all of the reflections a lot more. So I'm gonna use a high density and reasonably high size. And so because this is the front space, I am going to do 3 things that are going to make this seem really close. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lengthen my pre-delay. Because this is such a large space, I'm gonna use a pretty long pre-delay. Let's do 35 milliseconds. And then distance-wise, we're gonna make this really close. So let's just do 5%. The damping, I'm just gonna allow all the highs to come through because subtly increase the perceived closeness of it. And then the early late reflection balance is the other thing that's very critical. We're gonna want mostly early reflections and very, very few late reflections inside of this because we want the sound to sound close to us. We're gonna get a lot more early reflections than late reflections for something that's close. In terms of the actual reverb, I'm not gonna shape it too much. I'm just gonna slowly back off the top and bottom on this, just so it doesn't get in the way with mostly these subs, but also the highs. So that is my front space. And let's just take a listen to that. Everything is routed to this right now. It's also gonna be pretty loud. So it's gonna feel overwhelming initially, but you can kind of see where we're headed with this. In the crushing, in the pressing, so you can feel that everything is in that one space, right? So we didn't actually fix anything at this point because everything is still kind of grouped together in the same space. Let's copy this over and we're gonna adjust just our distance parameters. So our pre-delay is gonna be the first one. Let's back that up to like 15. Distance is gonna be 50-50. And our early late reflection is gonna be 70-30. And then I'm going to adjust the damping on the top end, just take those highs off just a little bit. And then I'm gonna squeeze this just a little bit more on the top and bottom. And then the last one is gonna be our back space. So this is gonna be the furthest possible away from us. We're gonna move our pre-delay down to 1. Our distance is gonna be basically 100%. Back off the highs even more. Squeeze it just a bit more, and early late reflection balance is going to be around 50-50. And so now we have our 3 spaces set up, and we're going to now start routing everything to where I think it should go inside of this matrix essentially that we've built. So our ad-libs I'm going to send to the back, our harmonies I'm also going to send to the back, and none in the front. And so now let's send our drum kit. Well, let's do the individual pieces of the drum kit. So all these are the snares and kicks. We're gonna send all those to the front. Toms can go in the middle. Hi-hats and overheads are in the middle as well. So when I'm going through this, I want most of the items in the mix to go into the middle space, which is the bus 2. That's gonna be our middle. And just a couple items in the front and the back. So I have my snare so far and my kick in the front space and ad-libs in the back. And that's everything else is gonna go straight to the middle. So auxiliary percussion is gonna go in the middle. Bass is also gonna go in the middle. Rhythm guitar, middle. Lead guitar, ooh, that's a good question. What do we have going on the lead guitar? Yeah, let's put that in the middle too. Keys, middle. Synths. What do we have going on the synths here? Nothing really here. Yeah, we'll send that to the back. And then lead vocals are in the front, that's good. Harmonies, okay. That is everything. So we have a couple background vocals in the back, the synths in the back, everything else is in the middle except for the lead vocals and the kick and snare. All right, so let's take a quick listen to it as is now. So we should have a lot more separation between those front and back elements especially, but we're not quite done yet. Let's listen to where we're at. In the crushing, in the pressing. Okay, so right now we have a ton of reverb. We can really feel that. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna back off all of these reverbs and we're gonna slowly bring up the front until it's just audible, and then we're gonna back it off just a little bit because we just want that feeling of the room. We don't actually want it to be very audible. In the crushing, in the pressing, you are making a new wine. In the soil okay, that's feeling pretty good to me. The middle and the back, I'm just going to make 3 decibels louder than each other. So if the front is 16 decibels, the next one's gonna be 13, the last one is going to be 10, minus 10 decibels. There we go. The reason I use that 3 decibels is because it's essentially doubling the amount of energy that's going to be coming out of each of these reverbs, depending on what's being sent to it. So it's just increasing the volume essentially of the back, which makes sense because the louder the reverb compared to the direct sound, the further away it's going to feel and sound to us. Now let's listen to where we're at. I'll do a little quick A/B here. So here's without, and then I'll add it in about halfway through this verse.
In the crushing, in the pressing, you are making new wine. In the soil I now surrender, you are breaking new ground. You are breaking new ground.
So you can tell that just adds this sense of depth inside of the mix, and that's really what we were going for. It's very easy to do. Set up your 3 buses, your front, middle, and back, and adjust those basically 3 parameters to create distance inside of your mix. The first one being the pre-delay, the second one being the actual distance parameter, and then the last one being the late versus early reflection balance. I hope this is super helpful for you. This is a very, very powerful technique to add just a ton of depth inside of your mix and really create this stage where you can set up your items very easily every single time to create a front, middle, and back room or space for your mix. Thanks for watching. I hope this is super helpful. And if it was, don't forget to subscribe because I release videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to help you get more professional mixes. All right, I will see you in the next one.